Send socket object to forked running process, multiprocessing.Queue. I am learning to use HTML5 WebSockets, and as part of that I am writing a server in Python so I can know the nitty-gritty of how they work. I created one the other day that worked pretty well, but I wanted to expand it so it would support multiple endpoints, with each endpoint being a different service which can handle WebSocket clients. At the moment, my implementation works with spawning processes and such. I am using multiprocessing instead of threading since I read that threading isn't really multi-threading in Python, and that's what I think I am using. Default install on Ubuntu 12.04, but I am having trouble sending received client sockets to the service processes. Here is how I send them. This runs in a loop. Server is a socket listening for incoming connections. The handshake method takes care of validating their request and determining which service process to put the client into. Response is the HTTP response to send. Close is true if there was an error, and service is a class which inherits from multiprocessing.Queue. WebSockets.WebSocket client is where my sending and receiving implementation is stored, and it basically functions as a wrapper for a socket. Client Queue is created like so. Manager is a multiprocessing.Manager. The error I get when I try to place a client in the client queue is as follows. I then get a broken pipe error on the receiving side. I got the same error when I was using a multiprocessing.Queue to send the connection, and I thought that changing it to a queue created by a manager would fix the problem. However, it seems to do the exact same implementation. Clearly this isn't the way one is supposed to send something like this to a running process. So what is the proper way to be sending non-serializable objects to a process?
Pass socket to another process is not a trivial thing. Look, for example, this question: can I open a socket and pass it to another process in Linux? Anyway, OS processes or threads is not what you really want for implement WebSocket server, because of large memory overhead. Look at SMTH with non-blocking sockets. E.g., tornado, this URL.
It's been around for 4+ years, though takes a little bit of work. The guts are hanging around in multiprocessing.Reduction, and the details of an example can be seen in this GitHub gist.
If you create socket before process forking, then its file descriptor will be inherited by the children.
You can't send sockets to forked processes without using deep Unix magic. You can read the book Advanced Programming in the Unix Environment if you really want to see how it is done in C. For an easy solution, change to using threading and your code will probably just work. While threading is not perfect in Python, it is pretty good for doing IO-intensive stuff. Alternatively, create your listening socket before forking and get all the sub-processes to listen, call accept. The OS will ensure that only one of them gets the connection. This is the way pre-forking servers are usually written.
Issue de tout humeur, vive Quirky subscribing.